Well, the crew, the road crew. No gig without the crew. You know, they say happy wife, happy life. Well, happy crew, good show. I remember in 1983, we just released Let the Franklin Flow, and yeah, we were riding high. Goanna were riding high on the back of Spirit Place, the album, and Solid Rock, and we had the ear of the media, and so Let the Franklin Flow got a bit of attention. It was a bit of a hot topic, and we got to tour our first tour of Tasmania, and I remember in Bernie, the promoter, had said to us, you know, don't do the Franklin song, it's a hot topic down here. But of course, young and stupid, we did, and fights broke out in the hall. It was a pretty hot issue. It divided families. A lot of, you know, there were people who, you know, divided people who were workers and people who wanted to see that beautiful country preserved. But I remember one gig we did the Longshore Tavern down south, and after the gig, they were pub gig. They were raking up. These guys were going around. They were raking up. They had metal rakes, and they were raking up all the beer cans off the floor, and the crew were packing up all the gear, packing up the PA, the lights, and I was just wandering around. I'd gone, and this guy came up to me with a metal rake, and he said to me, "I should wrap this around your effing head." And I said, why would you want to do that? And he said, you and your greenie mates, and, you know, the Franklin song and all that stuff, you know, and da-da-da-da. Anyway, it was all pretty full on. And fortunately, the crew, Bob Welsh and they got wind of it. Howard Freeman, I think, was tour managing us, and Gary Radborn, and Gary and Bob came over, and Howard, and they managed to talk him out of wrapping the metal rake around my head, but it got pretty hairy. Anyway, it was one of those moments where, yeah, we had a great gig. It was a fantastic night, and but you suddenly find yourself in a lot of peril. And he's a big bloke. I wouldn't have been able to get out of there without some damage, but thanks to the crew, they rescued us, and the tour went on. We just kept going. But it's just one small example of the extracurricular activity by the road crew. I mean, night after night, they were travelling town to town, setting up the gear, the PA, the lighting, all the little details, you know, making the show work, holding it all together with gaffer tape, and then pulling it all back down at the end of the night as well, and on to the next place, you know. And those days, in that time, we were doing, you know, you'd be doing, like most bands, you're doing 6 nights a week, travelling up and down the east coast of Australia, and 6 nights a week, 6 weeks at a time. You have a 2-week break and back at it again. The crews worked really, really hard. I mean, the bands worked hard too, but the crews physically worked incredibly hard. So here's to the crew. This far down the track, a lot of those guys need our help and our support. And so if you can, go to roadieforroadies.com and see how you can get involved to look after our mates. All those great shows you were able to maybe come and see only happened because the crew put it all together with a lot of care and a lot of love. So let's give that care and that love back to those that need our help. roadieforroadies.com.